There it is.
I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. As the days at Worlds of Fun and Lost Island for Stumbles of Fun passed, we wind up this visit to America's Heartland with a few Buzz Bar members making a stop to enjoy a day at Iowa's Adventureland. We'll take a look at a couple coasters that were added since the last time this park was featured on the channel, as well as a few of their beer spots with a guy who knows his theme park bars, before making the return home. For this last park day, Matt, Javi, Erica, Oliver, and I were taking a few rides at Adventureland, a park that was part of my 2019 Midwest trip as part of a double-up with Arnold's Park up north. And like that previous visit, there was a new coaster that was getting fairly close to opening.
Not even playing, I had a dream it was closed. And I woke up this morning, I was like,
Stop giving that bad juju, Matt.
The Flying Viking is the coaster part of the Coaster Log Flume combo from Zamperla, and unfortunately we were just 2 days before they were holding pass holder previews.
This seems to be a trend with me in this park where I try to go and get some new rides, and it's just a little early. One of these days maybe I'll wait until after I find out that a particular ride is open.
The operations of several rides was also a bit spotty, as Underground was closed for a refurbishment project, Outlaw was getting some retracking done, and Tornado didn't seem to be having the best day. It was a bummer for everyone who was there for the first time to miss out on a couple coasters, but this was still one of those days where we made the most of it and enjoyed the rides that were open. The first coaster we rode on was Dragon Slayer, their SNS 4D free spin coaster that is one of the first to offer a different experience based upon which side you sit on. This coaster took over part of the space previously occupied by the old Hopkins coaster Dragon, which is still one of the roughest coasters I've ever been on. You can still see remnants of the former Painmaker, but you won't see me shed a tear for it, as Dragon Slayer is an excellent replacement. Not just because I find 4D free spins from SNS to be quite fun, but this may have been the absolute wildest version of the free spin line, even if it was the smaller model. The spinning that occurs in the second direction reversal is absolutely insane.
Who knew that the way you slay a dragon is by spinning really fast? That must be why Sonic the Hedgehog is so effective.
Seeing as how we were in a park known for their beer stands with Matt from Coasters and Brews, it was only fitting that we stopped by the large beer garden where I had lunch last time, although it'd gotten a pretty big facelift and a new name, Rathskeller. I will say though, I totally understood Matt's hyping up the place and loved being able to enjoy a Schneiderweiss, one of the authentic German beers offered on tap. And the beers we got were perfect for the amount of time that we had in line for the next coaster, Phoenix. This was a nice redemption from that previous visit since it was a couple weeks from opening during my last visit to the park. And this one has some great spinning, although Javi and I might have benefited from a bit of a weight imbalance. But since we were out of beer, it only made sense to make use of our souvenir cups and go for a refill. This time at the Iowa Beer and Wine Bar, which offers some of the state's best local options. I myself had a Ruthie Golden Lager from Exile Brewing, and it did not disappoint. We did try getting in line for Tornado, but shortly after we did, it went back down again. So we made a quick restroom stop, and Oliver came back with a massive drink.
42-ounce souvenir cup cocktail. Explain what's in it. Think you got this?
They said this is lemonade, the most popular one, so just like, hey, let's split it. We all got glasses, so let's be a team here.
Oh, heck yeah.
From there, we took a ride on what is still the best coaster in the park, and what I still consider to be a contender for the best of the Infinity coasters, Monster. While it was a bummer for the chairlift that passed through it to be gone, the ride itself is still excellent for the unique layout with some solid moments of airtime and hang time. While I've since been on a few more Infinity coasters, this one still holds up, being among the best of its type, with hang time at Knott's Berry Farm probably being my second favorite of the model. Having 2 beers and part of a gigantic spiked lemonade on a warmer day was combining for a good excuse to grab some food, and that called for one of the newest additions to the park, the Potato Patch, inspired by the famous Kennywood fresh cut fry stand. Getting the bacon cheese fries was greasy, messy, and it absolutely hit the spot. From that point, we walked around the park a bit more, running into other rides being closed, and it was getting close to the time that we need to make our way back to the airport. So we went ahead and grabbed one last crazy spin on Dragon Slayer. then made our way out of the park, where Javi would continue his coaster expedition for another couple days, Erica would make her way back toward Kansas City, and Oliver and I caught a ride with Matt over to Des Moines Airport for the beginning of the journey home. The original plan was that Erica and I would drive back to Kansas City together, but since she also works for Delta, she had recommended that I take a look at flight options from a closer airport, and it turned out the seat availability for the 2 flights I found to get home were excellent, so I wouldn't have to worry nearly as much about getting back. Matt was the first to depart as he hopped his flight back home toward New Jersey, and Oliver would be a bit after me for his first flight heading back to Vancouver. My routing home would see me heading to an airport that I was supposed to have been to at the beginning of this trip in Minneapolis. The layover would be for a couple hours, and then I'd catch a flight home to Seattle. And while the first flight was on a smaller CRJ 900, I got lucky with an exit row that gave me a lot of legroom. The last flight home would be on another classic of Renton, the Boeing 757, which Delta still has a decent number of as the largest operator of the model. But it happened to be one where the middle seat remained unoccupied, giving some extra space for that last leg home. Getting back to Seattle meant that another trip for a stumble was in the books. While this wasn't one of the biggest stumbles, it certainly was a special one, as it was this club's first time being the first group to get a backstage tour for a new coaster, and the tours of Volcano and Matagani were awesome. This was certainly an enjoyable trip, and there's many people to thank. First, as always, a thank you to the Buzz Bar's leaders and club members for making this another excellent event. It was yet another reminder of what a great group of folks are involved in it, and I look forward to what the club has in store for the future. If you haven't already, take a look at the awesome Buzz Bar's YouTube channel, where Allison has given some great looks at all the fun and chaos that comes with these events. And if you'd like to learn more about the club, be sure to check out the website or follow the club on various social media pages. Speaking of Allison, a huge thank you to her and everyone else who provided footage that was utilized in this vlog. I know I've said it before, but many of these tales of stumbles and wobbles are far more well-rounded with the contributions others have made, and I'm appreciative of all those who have done so. Don't forget that you can see the experiences of the weekend from Matt's perspective on Coasters and Brews, and Aaron's adventure before and during the stumble on the Ride Factor. Links to all these pages, channels, and videos can be found in the description below. I also want to thank Philip once again for his support of my adventures by welcoming me to take advantage of his flight benefits, and wish to congratulate him once more on making it with Delta. I'm looking forward to seeing where all he gets to go as his time with the company continues, and I look forward to what adventures might be in store ahead with the ability to utilize an airline that calls my home airport one of its hubs. And finally, a thank you to Oliver and Erica in joining me on the trip's side adventures, especially Erica for her flexibility with my travel delays in the beginning, since I wasn't entirely sure if or when I'd make it to Kansas City. It was a fun side trip for smaller parks, and one that I've been trying to get to for several years. And I think having the company for the journey made it even better. Thank you all again for joining me on this look back at the adventure around America's Heartland for Stumbles of Fun. I hope you enjoyed it and that you'll come back for more, especially as the next adventure offers another chance to go coasting with culture internationally. Thank you for watching this video from Coasting with Culture. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on various social media channels at CoastWCulture for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.